Welcome to WNL Sports Weekly. I'm Jeremy Franklin. This week we'll speak with women's soccer coach Rachael Sushner, volleyball captain Alex Kinzer, and men's soccer captain Zach Colby. But first, a quick look back at the weekend in Washington and Lee athletics. Men's cross country wrapped up the regular season with the second place showing at the Gettysburg Invitational, finishing behind only Division I Bucknell. The women's team came in 17th in a 35-team field. Men's and women's swimming both defeated Mary Washington, and the women also won 9 out of 10 events to claim the title at the ODAC Relays. Football picked up its first win of the season, defeating Randolph-Macon 28-25 at Wilson Field, while Riding placed 8th at the Hollins Invitational. Volleyball went 2-1 over the weekend, losing 3-0 at Virginia Wesleyan on Friday, but bouncing back on Saturday to beat Randolph-Macon and Franklin and Marshall. Men's soccer scored a 2-0 home victory over Randolph-Macon, while the women's team fell 2-0 on the road to 4th-ranked Lynchburg. I'm joined now by assistant women's soccer coach Rachael Sushner. Rachael, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Saturday's defeat at Lynchburg marked the first time the Generals had conceded a goal since August, a streak of 9 straight shutouts. What's made the Generals so effective on the defensive end?
I think that's something that we really pride ourselves on, is being a team that's really hard to beat, being a team that's really hard to score goals against. And that's something we work on all season long. It starts off in preseason, and then we continue to make adjustments throughout all season long. Early on, after our first weekend, we saw some holes in our defending, and we quickly fixed that, and we still make adjustments to it. We still work on defending, and it's not just our back line, it's our entire team. It starts with our forwards pressuring the ball and goes all the way to the back.
You played at Skidmore, and before coming to WNL, you coached at Wellesley and Clarkson. What makes Division III soccer such a special experience?
So all those places have been Division III. I think the special thing in Division III is that a lot of it's on the players to do the hard work. So out of season, in season, the coaches are allowed to have mandatory practices and things like that, but out of season, it's really on the players to do all the hard work. And that's definitely the special part of it. It's no coincidence that the teams I've been a part of that have been really strong and really successful are the teams where players work hard out of season. And I think what makes that special is that when you do seek those benefits and you're really successful in season, you know that it's because of all the things you did.
Washington and Lee has operated out of a variation of the 3-5-2 for most of the season. How well has this formation worked?
It's worked really well. The way we choose our formation is based off of the players we have, based off of the strengths that the different players that we're going to use during the season are. And we started off last season in a 3-5-2 and continue to do it this season. At first glance, it can look like it's a really attacking mindset, but it's actually can be really defensive at times because we have our wingers and midfielders track back, and if they track back well, then there could be 5 defenders in the back line. So we're fortunate. It works really well for us for a lot of reasons, but one thing is that we have really athletic wingers who kill themselves in every game. Caroline Hahn and Katie Rossi and some players off the bench, because they're willing to go back and get forward, it works. And then, you have to have, obviously with just 3 defenders, you have to have smart players. And, we have people like Ashley Hogan and some other experienced players who are able to keep us really organized. And it wouldn't work if we didn't have players like that to fulfill the system.
The road to an ODAC championship will probably go back through Lynchburg. What are the keys to postseason success for Washington and Lee, especially considering that you'll probably have to win a couple of tough matches to get back to the final?
I think first and foremost is just making sure that we continue building off of what we have achieved so far and, not letting any of that get in the way. Some of the things we really care about, self-discipline and focus, and every game, every big game, we have a game plan, and we kind of know what the other team's doing, but it's really based off of what we're going to do that game, and so it's definitely staying focused with that. And then I think the other big thing that sometimes we struggle with this season is making sure we play with confidence and self-belief. That's really what's going to take us to be able to win those big games. When we have done well, it's because we have been really confident. And then being able to, I think the big thing in playoffs is having some individual players step up as well. So we need some significant individual performances that have happened here and there, but I think it's really important for us to be able to get to that next level. We need some of that.
Rachael, thanks for joining us here. Good luck with the rest of the season.
Thanks for having me.
I'm joined now by Alex Kinzer, junior volleyball captain from Greenville, South Carolina. Alex, welcome to the show.
Hey, Jeremy. Thanks for having me.
Washington and Lee suffered back-to-back ODAC losses last week to Roanoke and Virginia Wesleyan, but you rebounded with a 5-set win over Randolph-Macon on Saturday. What did the victory over the Yellow Jackets show you about your team's toughness?
Yeah, one thing that we always work on as a program is always moving forward. At the end of every match, win or lose, one of our captains, last year it was Megan Molesky and this year it's Kelly McManus, looks around the circle and looks at everybody and says, all right, let's move forward, Generals. We work on being really mentally tough and being able to handle mistakes and successes and learn from them, and then in the next match play with confidence. So beating Randolph-Macon at their home gym is always fun, of course, and it really showed us that we are mentally tough enough to do that.
The Generals are 22-4 on the season after beating Randolph on Tuesday night. You've had to overcome a lot of injuries and illnesses. How has Washington and Lee done that to have this kind of success?
Yeah, a lot of injury and a lot of illness. We've had some rough days and some times when have gotten pretty hard with that, but when that happens, we end up going back to our culture. And in our culture, we work really hard on building positive relationships with everybody on the team, from freshmen to coaches. And you know, when illness and injury hit us and things get a little bit confusing and new people are playing next to different people and some people are really tired, that's when we really lean on those relationships and work together really hard.
You're averaging over a kill per set, which is a very high number for a setter. You're also second on the team in blocks. Do you feel like you approach your position differently than other setters?
Well, I think that a lot of that has to do with how our coaches train the setters. We work really hard to make sure that all of the setters in our program can hit any spot on the floor at any time. And then we also work really hard on having good vision across the net, and so we can recognize those situations when we can attack. And then obviously the idea is for all of us, I mean setters, no matter what your position is when you're on the floor, your job is to score and to win. So all of your game, whether it's defense, serving, etc., has to be there, not just setting. So I guess that's where like the blocking comes from. And then the other thing that's fun is that people don't expect a setter to be aggressive or to be a good blocker. Actually, a lot of coaches say that setters are like set so that the setter has to block because they're probably terrible. So it's fun to turn that on its head and to be unexpected.
The victory over Randolph-Macon last weekend means that no team is unbeaten in conference play. What are your expectations for the ODAC tournament?
Yeah, we knew going into this season that ODACs would be very competitive. We knew we'd have to fight the whole way, and we found that we were right. Everybody is playing really hard, and everybody wants to win. So we know that we have to keep moving forward. We have to keep getting better, but we're very confident that if we play our system, the system that our coaches have designed, and then if we execute, we're going to be successful.
Alex, thanks for joining us here. Best of luck the rest of the way.
Thanks, Jeremy.
With me now is Zach Colby, senior soccer captain from Prairie Village, Kansas. Zach, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me.
You now have scored 35 career goals, which ranks you 5th all-time at Washington and Lee. All of those goals have come since the start of your sophomore season. What's enabled you to have so much offensive success over the last 3 years?
Yeah, well, not playing freshman year really motivated me to work hard. I worked pretty hard in the off season in the weight room, on the field, and that kind of competitive drive has really allowed me to have some offensive success the past 3 years.
In addition to soccer and your academic commitments, you're also president of the Southern Comfort a cappella group at Washington and Lee. How has attending WNL enabled you to pursue some of your other interests?
WNL is so awesome in that way. I really like the D3 feel of everything, how I can go from classes straight to practice and then right after maybe go to a cappella group practice. And it's really helped me learn a lot of life skills, being able to try to balance all those things. And over the years, I've gotten a lot better at that. And WNL is really awesome in allowing me to take on all those commitments.
The Generals already had a pretty solid core returning to the field in 2014. What in particular has the first-year class brought to the program?
The first years have been huge for us, especially after junior captain Ben Bayless went down in the first game of the year. They've really stepped up in the center mid, and that, as well as the outside mid. Reeves, Duggan, and Andrew Kim out there have really provided some offensive firepower. Then Sam Napke, Austin Gilbert, and Kevin Molnar are really holding it down in the center midfield as well. So they've been a huge contribution to our team this year.
As usual, the ODAC is extremely competitive, really from 1 down through 9 in the conference standings. What needs to happen for Washington Lee to make a run in the ODAC tournament?
The ODAC really is special with its parity. It's unlike any other league I've seen. And Coach has been saying all year that we need to be playing our best soccer at the end of October. And we've had some really close games with the teams at the top of our league. All of our losses have come by 1 goal. And so hopefully in these next couple weeks we can be playing our best soccer of the year and peaking at the right time to make a run in the ODAC tournament.
Zach, thanks for joining us here. Good luck the rest of the way.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
It's time now for a look at the upcoming weekend. Field hockey continues its battle for an ODAC tournament spot with the match at Randolph-Macon, while men's and women's swimming will take on the Yellow Jackets at home. Volleyball heads to Guilford for a conference contest, and football visits Bridgewater. Both soccer teams are also on the road. The women face Randolph-Macon, and the men travel to Roanoke. For WNL Sports Weekly, I'm Jeremy Franklin. Thanks for watching.